Hello out there in Facebook world. Just checking to see who's online tonight. It's about 10:38 Central Time. Anybody awake? Anybody up on a Friday night? Hey lady, how are you doing? What's going on? I see you up late tonight too. You doing all right, Miss McPherson? Oops. How's everybody doing? I'm in a late night mood to talk about something that's kind of, I shouldn't say dear to my heart, but unfortunately it is. You're doing good. I'm doing good as well. I'm doing good as well. So I can't complain. Hey, Gerard. I'm just having a Friday night. Actually, it's the end of date night tonight. Me and Mark were just kind of sitting around talking and just kind of wanted to get on here and talk about depression a little bit. I know it's a depressive word, but it's something that needs to be talked about. Trying to wait and see if anybody else decides to join. If not, I'll just go ahead and run my mouth by myself and see how the night goes. But just wanted to get on here and say hello to everybody. It's been a while since I've been on live. Like I said, it's at the end of my date night tonight with the hubby. And we were just kind of sitting down and, just chit-chatting, reminiscing, talking about any and everything, I think. And I don't know, something just drew me into coming on live just to talk about depression a little bit. Nothing to really bring you down, just to kind of enlighten you about my plight with depression and things like that. I see that there are a couple of people that are eyeballing me. Hi, whoever that is. Say hi to me when you come on, if you see me anyway. Say hello. But you guys, I just wanted to come on here and like I said, just say a few words about depression and everything. Depression has been a part of my life for most of my life. And a lot of times we don't talk about it because, it's taboo. We're not supposed to talk about it. But it needs to be talked about. That's pretty much what started me with my first book, Inside of Me. Although it is a fiction, it's mostly talking about, it has fictional characters, fictional stories and stuff like that. However, you know, it's something that people actually do go through. I actually have been diagnosed with depression. I was diagnosed originally when I was 28 years old. It was after I had my first daughter. Well, I shouldn't say my first daughter, my only daughter. My first child. I was diagnosed then. Still really didn't know what it was. But I just knew that before I actually had her, you know, I was sad all the time. Didn't know why. Just sad all the time. And just couldn't put a name to it. But as I got older and life happened, it just brought into fruition everything, and everything kind of came together with depression. And it's a tough subject to really talk about, especially since I've been, you know, dealing with it for a long time. But still, it does need to be talked about. With me being the person that I was back then, I didn't talk about it for fear of rejection, for fear of being looked at a certain way. It just wasn't talked about. I didn't feel like I had anybody I could talk to, or I didn't have anybody who was really willing to listen. That was mostly in my 20s and 30s. As I got older, you know, I was able to talk to a couple of people, and, you know, I was able to actually go and seek therapy. Still in denial. You know, they tried to talk to me through counseling and try to do the medication part. Sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't. And, you know, it just wasn't a very pleasant experience, especially growing up with 2 small kids and didn't have a support system like I wanted. But, you know, through it all down the line, God blessed me with a man who is very supportive. And that means a lot, especially when you're going through. It's very important, and it's almost life-changing when you have that support system there. Somebody who understands, who really didn't understand at first, but they understand now because they see what I actually went through. Do I feel that therapy has helped? Yes. And I say that because when you talk to a therapist, they're biased, you know. They don't know you from Adam. You can go in there and talk to them just about anything, and you should feel confident in telling them some of your deepest, darkest secrets without, you know, going back to family and friends because of the HIPAA laws. You know, there's no way, unless it's court ordered, that they are supposed to you know, talk about whatever you talk about with a therapist. And I find that to be very comforting. And it also depends on the type of person that you go to. I mean, actually, there are some therapists who you don't feel comfortable with. That's a whole different avenue right there. But if you're real comfortable with the person that you're talking with, it could be very beneficial. And one that's also very understanding. Now, please understand, you can go to a counselor, you know, you can go to, you know, a pastor, You can go to a therapist through your job, through EAP, Employee Assistance Program, if your job has that. I don't know exactly how confidential that kind of thing is. I've done it though, going to counseling sessions through my job. But in the back of my mind, I always thought that maybe somehow the job might know. But with HIPAA laws, they're not supposed to. So, I preferred going outside of my job. But I did do that. I've actually seen a psychiatrist and a psychologist. The psychologist, well, with a psychiatrist, they're the ones that can, they can write prescription for you. They're legally able to do that. Now, with psychologists, they do more therapy with talking, helping you to cope. Psychologists do not write prescriptions for medication. So, that's the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Being able to talk to my psychologist has been very helpful. Now, don't get me wrong. Me and Mark talk about everything. I have nothing to hide from him. And so, but it seems like when you talk to somebody else, they have a different perspective on things. Say, for instance, there might be something that I can talk to my husband about, and, he's supportive. But a psychologist will be able to tell you, hey, maybe if you try it this way, my husband's always supportive of me. He would never try to deter me or steer me in the wrong direction, of course. But I think with other counseling, they can give you a different perspective of things, like, hey, maybe if you do it this way, that might be better. Or they may be able to tell me something that maybe I can try differently versus my husband saying, you're okay, you're fine. So, it's not like I don't trust what my husband says. That's not the case at all. They just give me, like I said, a different perspective on things. So, it does help. And of course, I'm still able to, talk to them. Oh, well, let me tell you like this. In my mind, there are things that I really don't want to talk to Mark about, only because I don't want him to worry about me. You get that? He cares about me so deeply that if I tell him that, I'm feeling this way, then he'll begin to worry about me. And that's something that I don't want him to do. I don't want him to worry. Because, there are some things that he cannot change for me. It's something that I've got to do within myself, if that makes any sense. And so, if I'm able to talk to somebody else, I'm paying them to help me. You know what I'm saying? And so there's no extra stress on them. They're doing their job. I don't want to put that extra stress on my husband, because he's always, doing other things like taking care of the home and taking care of me and taking care of our son and taking care of the son in college and the daughter in South Carolina. So, and he's working and he thinks about a whole bunch of stuff, and just for me to unload on him. You know, I just feel like, I can't do it. You know, I want him to come home and be at peace. And that's my main thing. So, you know, a lot of times I, you know, try to talk to someone else so that he won't feel pressured to take care of me, if that makes any sense. Now, since I've been diagnosed, has there been a time that I haven't been depressed? Well, let me tell you the funny thing about depression. Depression will, the depression is, you can't turn it on or off. It's not a light switch. You can't turn it on. You can't turn it off. It just happens. And with me, when it happens, and I can't get myself out of it. Now, you know, I'm doing okay, you know, right now. A few months ago, I wasn't. You know, in October, I had a really, really bad breakdown. I discussed my time during my breakdown in my blog, the couple of days that I actually went to a facility. Some people may have read that, read my blog. Some people may not have, but I guess if they see this video, they'll know that I was there. But there have been times that I've been able to be normal. Oh, you read it? Okay. Yeah, so you know I had a pretty rough time back in October. But, you know, there are times that I can feel normal. I can feel happy, but I cannot even begin to pinpoint to you what triggers that particular trauma to make me just go backwards. Yeah, so yes, there have been times that I have been out of that depressive state. But I can't really even pinpoint to you how long I've been out of the depressive state. And just like with depression itself, you know, with me, there are days when I can actually be depressed and I can say something funny on Facebook. Or I might even, I'm not really a TikTok person, but if I get in the mood, I'll do a TikTok or something to kind of, you know, try to bring me out of that state. However, it does not cure anything. It just makes me feel a little bit happy outside of that state, but I'm still like that. I can go around and I can smile all day long. But when nighttime hits and I'm by myself, and you know, they say an idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's a true statement. You know, settle down for the night and, you know, I can go in the shower and something just triggers me and then I start crying. Or maybe even see something on TV. Or I can hear a song on the radio and it triggers something and I get back in that state again. So it's kind of hard to really say when I haven't been depressed. I've been depressed for so long that, like with the character in the first book, you begin to feel like it's a normal thing, like you're supposed to feel like that. It's only days where when you get out of it and it's like, you know, what? what happened? You know, so I can have my days when I'm, you know, laughing and cutting up and, you know, joking around and I could be depressed at that particular time. And it's crazy. Yeah, you'll know. I mean, does it last more than like 2 weeks? A lot of people have never been diagnosed with depression. And therefore, they either don't believe that they have it, or maybe they are afraid to get that diagnosis. Or, you know, with some people can't even go to the doctor. You know, insurance is crazy these days. And oh, another thing too, just like with my situation a couple of months ago, you can't get in to see anybody. And it's crazy. I don't know whether it was because of the pandemic that's flipped everybody because of, you know, being inside and the trauma of, you know, losing people during, you know, the COVID pandemic. But it is hard to get in to see anybody these days. It's tremendously hard. And my husband and I, we spent, what, 8-10 hours in the ER just to see somebody. And I was about to leave. I'm like, Mark, let's go. It's ridiculous, you know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I must tell you, you need to address it, because you don't need to go through that by yourself. And trust me when I say, I don't know why this camera's moving. Trust me when I say, when it's inside of you and it stays there, it festers. And when it festers, it begins to take control of your physical body. Not only your mental, but your physical. I mean, there were times when my hair was coming out. I would lose weight or I would gain weight. I guess because I've gotten older, I'm gaining now. But when I was younger, I was losing weight. And always had headaches. There was a time, sometime after I had my son, when I was in such a depressive state that I broke out in hives for 2 weeks straight. I mean, I broke out in hives 2 weeks straight. And the doctors actually thought I had lupus. That's how that stress affected me. Ooh, excuse me. Now, granted, I was stressed because this was during my first marriage. And that's a whole nother story. But I really was stressed and depressed. And like I said, it affects you physically as well. And I'm glad you do. I'm glad you address it. You know, don't let that fester inside, because I think, to me, that'll do more damage than anything. Just holding it. And that was my problem. I held it in. I didn't have anybody to talk to. Now I have great resources. You know, I have Mark. He makes me laugh when I don't feel like it. just say crazy stuff, and sometimes I don't feel like laughing, and I'll just look at him like, are you serious right now? But I love him for that, because he can tell when I'm not feeling my best. And if I'm really not feeling my best, then, you know, he doesn't joke around and stuff like that. But, you know, for the most part, he'll kind of break me out of whatever zone I'm in and, you know, make me think about something else. So, you know, but I'm glad that you do address it. And it's a great thing to do that. And I'm glad you have that outlet. There was one time, it was late at night, just before I went to the ER. Mark was asleep. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I started chatting with someone on the suicide helpline. And it was just me and that lady just tapping away. She was asking me questions. How am I feeling? What's going on? And, you know, that was somebody that was there that could actually listen that time of night, because I didn't want to wake Mark up. You know, he had to go to work the next morning. And everybody else was asleep. It was late at night, and, you know, so, yeah, so, and it's good that you know that it does run in your family. See, I don't know. Nobody has ever said anything to me. I'm pretty sure there have been, but no one ever addressed it. I'm not exactly sure how old you are, but I'm 52, and back then we couldn't talk about that kind of thing. Nobody ever talked about anything, whether who was. Now, what they'll say was so-and-so was crazy, but, you know, that to my age back then didn't really mean anything to me. You know, just crazy was just crazy. It wasn't like a mental illness, or it didn't have, you know, there wasn't a name to it, like schizophrenia or bipolar or depression. Okay, so, you know, we're around the same age. Yeah, so, you know, no one ever mentioned anything to me in regards to anybody in the family having, you know, those type of issues. As far as I know, still, there isn't anyone. But, you know, at least you know, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that you do know that, and you know the signs. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize the level of mental illness, because mental illness is not just depression. It's not just schizophrenia. There's a whole list. There's a whole list of different diagnoses that fall under mental illness. A lot of people don't know. Just like eating disorders. Those are mental illnesses. Really? Until you were 20. Wow. Wow. I am sorry to hear that. Wow. You were just 15. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just because I'm talking right now, I can't think of everything, but, you know, eating disorders is considered a mental illness, whether you're anorexic or bulimic. Of course, I don't have my phone to look up this stuff, but, you know, bipolar, you know, schizophrenia, depression. I haven't been officially diagnosed with anything except, you know, depression, major depressive disorder, and anxiety disorder. Those are the two that I've been, you know, diagnosed with. But again, like I said, nobody said anything as far as it being in the family. So I don't know whether that's good or bad. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm the first one. I don't know. I doubt it. I have my suspicions. I have my suspicions, but, you know, I'll keep that to myself. But anyway, yeah, so, wow, but I'm glad they finally told you about what happened, because you do need to know that. I don't know whether there's a genetic disposition when it comes to that. So, you know, just definitely be careful with that, and know yourself and know your body. Yeah. Oh yeah, working in a hospital. Yeah, you'll definitely learn a lot there. When I was in the hospital, well, as a patient, I wasn't in the hospital per se, because they never were able to get me a bed. So that's a whole nother story right there, boy. I tell you, that was an awful experience. I told Mark I felt better. I felt worse after getting out than I did going in, because of the way things were handled. But does she know about? Does she understand what it could possibly be? Sometimes people are afraid of what they're going to find out, and they really don't want to know. I hope she does get the help that she needs, though. And I hate to hear that. There needs to be more said about, you know, this type of thing, especially with our younger generation. I feel like our generation will talk about it a lot more freely than our moms and our grandmothers used to. And, you know, that was part of the problem. So I'm hoping that she's able to get the help that she needs. And, you know, because that's definitely a hurtful feeling, knowing that you know and can't do anything about it because she's probably of age. Yeah. Yeah. And she's probably afraid of that label. She's probably afraid of that label. I was afraid of that label. I still am. But I've gotten old and cranky now, so I know what it is. I can say what it is. You know, I do suffer from a mental illness. You know, depression is a mental illness. Just like it's a health condition. Not everything. Oh yeah, she's well of age, so you know there's nothing really you can do about that, but just pray, you know, that she gets the help that she needs, and you know, hope for the best with that. Yeah. That's a very tough thing to swallow. It took me a while to even say it myself because I was scared of being labeled and looked at in a certain way, and judged in a certain way. And then I got a little wiser and I'm like, hey, you know, they're going to talk about me anyway. So, Let them talk. Let's give them something to talk about. You know, you not doing anything, you know, worrying about other people and what they're going to say and stuff like that. That's not helping you in any way, because people are going to talk anyway, regardless, you know. So, you know, that's why I'm on here now, to talk about this. Yeah, that's the thing. That's all you can do, is just pray about it. And maybe one day she'll be able to come to Mom and say, hey, Mom, I need help. Maybe one day. And I'm praying it sooner than later. I will tell you this. When I realized that I needed help, I was afraid to call my husband. But I was also at a state where I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't. The tears just flowed like I was dying, you know. My head was hurting. I was in pain. You know, I have sciatic problems, you know, nerve problems, sciatic nerve, bursitis in both hips, and suffer from migraine. So I was hurting on top of everything else. And I felt like I just could not cope. And, you know, I cried to Mark and said, Mark, I would rather not even be here than to feel this pain. That's how bad I was. That's how bad off I was. And so that was a very hurtful thing for me to say to him, especially knowing that, you know, his wife passed away a number of years ago. And for me to say that I'd rather not be here than to feel the way that I felt, I can only imagine how hurtful that was. But then I wanted to be honest with him too, you know. And so that morning, after I had that chat with the suicide helpline, I had a chat after I talked with them that morning. Mark left to go to work, and I was thinking to myself, I need to do something. I can't continue to feel like this and go on and not feel like myself. I just couldn't do it. So I called him at work and I said, Mark, I said, would you be disappointed in me if I told you that I needed to go to the hospital to do an inpatient stay? And he said, I'm on my way. He literally dropped what he was doing at work to come see about me. And that was truly an amazing thing, because I'd never gotten that support from anybody before. So to know that he cared enough to come see about me made all the difference in the world. And he said, I'd rather you go to the hospital and take care of yourself, knowing that you'd be able to come back with me. So if I had to go, I had to go. And that was like a weight lifted off. So again, depression is real, y'all. And if you know anybody who has gone through or who is going through depression, please see about them. There are people who, now, as far as depression is concerned, some people are different. Some people will accept the help, then there are some people who won't. And thank you. There are some people who will and some people who won't. And but please don't let that stop you from asking. Don't ever let that stop you from asking. Some people are not ready for the help that they need. But then there are some people who are. So just be there. Be there. Especially when they need it. My children. How has the depression affected my children? Or has the depression affected my children in any way? That's a good question. Let's just say boys will be boys. My daughter's a little bit more understanding. You know, she's compassionate. But honestly, I try not to display how I feel in front of them. But they know that I have it. They do know that I have it. My son in college, a lot of times he will call, "Hey, Mom, how you doing?" "Well, son, I'm not doing very well today." And he was like, "What's wrong?" And I'll be like, "Just having a bad day, not doing too well." And he'll be like, "Okay, well, I hope you feel better. Thank you, son." That's about it. I don't really go into detail why I'm not my daughter understands a little bit more, I think. Because I think it's because we talk more. And she understands more because she's the oldest daughter. So she's understood what I've been going through for a long time. She understands a little bit more. The youngest is mostly into basketball. So, I don't display that in front of him too much either. So, I watch them though, because of I'm talking about my biological now. I watch them closely because, you know, there could be some predisposition from me to them when it comes to genetics and depression. A lot of times I can't tell with my son because he's quiet and shy. You know, he doesn't talk very much unless it's about football. The Redskins, as a matter of fact. He'll talk about some football now, but so when I try to talk to him, you know, ask him is he okay, because I can tell when he's not himself, but he always says he's fine. So I kind of let that go until the next time I talk to him, and the next time he sounds a little bit better. My daughter, I can always tell with her too. Now my daughter, I always call her my little social butterfly, because ever since she's been little, she's been the talkative one. You know, she's always the one that's smiling and laughing and stuff like that. And when she's not doing that, I know something's wrong. And so I keep an eye on her as much as I can through the distances, but, you know, it's hard, you know, with them being away and I'm here. So like I said, I try to keep an eye on them because of, you know, the predisposition with me and genetics. And youngest son, he is still having issues with the loss of his mother. And I honestly don't expect that to that could only get better with time, but nobody at that age, I don't think, can get over that kind of loss, especially that young. So it's going to take some time for him to, you know, get in a right place to where it doesn't bother him as much. So, you know, when it comes to me, all of my kids have something on their plate. You know, the youngest with the loss of his mother. My middle son, he's away at school trying to keep up with a certain GPA so he can get into grad school. Yes, I'm excited about that. And so, you know, I don't want to stress him out by telling him, you know, something's wrong with me. And then my daughter, you know, she has some of her own things that she's dealing with, so I try to keep my stuff to a minimum when it comes to them, because I care about what goes on with them too. So my saving grace basically is my husband. And if he's not around, there's Rico. Rico will either be nice and sweet and lay between my ankles like he is now, or he'll just get on my nerves. It's that extreme. It's one extreme to the other. But, you know, he's been a little saving grace as well, especially, yay, especially when I'm here by myself and everybody's going to work or school. I have a toddler in the house. You know, he drives me bananas sometimes, but, you know, it's better than sitting around not doing anything, not thinking of other things that I don't need to be thinking about. So yeah, it's been a crazy, I would say, 40 some years. because I've been dealing with this way before I was diagnosed. Way before I was diagnosed. But, you know, I thank God for keeping me. Honestly, I didn't expect, and maybe I shouldn't say this on live, but I didn't expect to live this long, to be quite honest with you. Didn't expect to live this long. But God saw fit and gave me a purpose in life to talk about this. I didn't know it then, but I do know now that, you know, that's my purpose in life, to talk about this disease. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to, you know, write those 2 books. And one is fiction, one is nonfiction. One is not a true story. The second one is a true story. Both dealing with depression. But what I get most out of both of them is I want people to know that, you know, depression is real. And another thing, to be honest with you, the monetary part of writing this book, I don't care about. I don't care about the monetary at all. I asked God to, if he could just touch one person with the very first book, if he could just touch one person by what I wrote, that's all I cared about. And that's truly all I cared about. Somebody to get my message. And I've been blessed to get quite a bit of feedback from the first one. And one in particular woman, she messed me up. She messed me up. In a good way and a bad way. She messed me up because she embraced me and told me how much the book blessed her, and how much y'all would not even believe how much she thanked me for writing the book, because she was ashamed of saying that she was depressed. She was ashamed of telling anybody, you know, what was going on with her. And the part that messed me up was, you know, after she told me that, I think it was a couple of weeks later, she passed away. And that hit me hard. That hit me hard. But, you know, I've also had other people to say how much, see, y'all got me crying. Other people have actually told me how much they appreciated what I wrote too. And I'm thankful for that. And you know, I continue to thank everybody that has, you know, put reviews on, you know, Amazon. I'm truly grateful for that. Truly grateful for that. But like I said, that woman that passed away before she left this world, she thanked me. And I just can't forget that. So, but anyway, whew, didn't mean to come on here crying, y'all, but, you know, it hits me sometimes like that. Yeah. yeah, yeah. She embraced me for a long time, and just thanked me. You know, me and her had a personal conversation, and she just passed away a couple of weeks afterwards. So that messed me up a little bit. No, well, no, it messed me up a lot. It messed me up a lot. But, you know, it showed me God gave me that message right there that told me, you know, he gave me what I asked for. He gave me what I asked for. If I could just touch one person. But I ended up touching more people than I anticipated, and that's a great thing. And so once when I finished the first book, I wanted to, you know, I had envisioned it to be a movie or a short film or something indie, you know, and it's amazing how God works. That's a whole nother discussion, but the producer, she just dropped in my lap. Literally dropped in my lap. All because of a Pisces shirt. A mutual friend of mine inboxed me about my Pisces shirt, and I asked her a question. Do you know any screenwriters? No, I asked her, did she know any screenwriters? And lo and behold, long story short, we're about to do this short film next month. Yeah, that was hard. So, you know, I'm excited about getting this short film done in a few weeks. I'll be back home in Charleston, and me and my husband will be able to go eat some low country food. No, I'm not going to do that. That might mess up his diet. But, yeah, so I'm thankful. God has truly blessed me and blessed my family. And, but, you know, I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys a little bit about, you know, depression and what it's like and how it affected me and affected my husband. And you know, you asked a question about my kids, and the dog is fine though. He's fine. He's spoiled rotten. He's just laying in between my feet, just as comfortable. No worries in the world. Now that's what you call unbothered. Isn't that right, Rico? But I just wanted to come on here, y'all, and just, you know, just share a little bit of information. And I'm glad that you came on here. And thank you so much. And I'm certainly glad you came on here and started talking with me. I appreciate it. Anytime. Anytime. And hit me up in my inbox if you ever have any kind of questions or anything. Because I want to talk about it. I'm more than happy to talk about it. And, you know, once this COVID thing is, you know, died down, I'm looking forward to, you know, even possibly going to book club meetings. And I'm hoping to reestablish a date with Jennifer in Jacksonville soon. We had to postpone it before because of the outbreak of COVID came back full force again, and so we kind of postponed that for another time. So I'm looking forward to actually going back or rescheduling that to go to Jacksonville. But you know, I'm willing to go anywhere just to tell my story. So, you know, if you know of any book clubs or Anybody have any book clubs? Shoot me a message or send me a, what do you call it, a DM, or get in touch with me somehow, myself or Mark, and we'll be more than happy to, talk with you. But it's late, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything, just want to talk, just hit me up anytime. But thank you so much for being on here with me. I didn't feel like I was by myself. But anyway, you go ahead and you have a good night. And maybe I'll come back on here soon again and we can talk some more. So you have a good night. And I'll be praying for you about what we talked about earlier. Could definitely use some prayer. Oh, let me show you something else. I said to myself, I need to have a reminder. I need to have a reminder whenever I go through this that, oh, really? Okay. As soon as Mark sees Texas, he's going to think about Dallas Cowboys. I was going to get him that, think about getting him tickets last year to go to a game, but then COVID hit. But, you never know. I might still get a chance to do that before the season, or if we can do it next season, maybe. So, well, I'll keep you in mind, definitely. So when I have, like I was saying, when I have those doubtful moments, I told myself I was going to get a reminder of what I need to do. So I got a reminder. I have a constant reminder now of what I need to do. Let me show you what I did. I'm not sure whether it's backwards on your end or whether it's showing right side, but I have this constant reminder now to trust God. Trust God. That's all I can do. When the enemy comes up against me, try to make me think other things that I shouldn't be thinking, I'm going to trust God. My constant reminder. And you do that too. You do that too. Trust God. Trust the process. All right, y'all. I see some eyes on me. You didn't say hi, but hello. Miss McPherson, you have a wonderful night, dear. And we'll talk soon. Talk to you later. Bye.